Hey folks, NephilimFree here. 80% of the proteins in human beings differ from those of apes. If evolution theory were true, it would require that proteins evolve. In fact, proteins would have to be evolving continuously and would have always had to have been evolving if evolution theory were true. That's because the proteins between many different types of life are different. Every time evolution produced a unique creature, something that didn't exist in the tree of life, it would require that proteins evolve. Many proteins would have to evolve because the proteins between one type of living thing and another will vary. So if evolution, even when it comes to insects, was to beget a brand new type of insect, one that didn't exist before, it would require that many proteins evolved. And because evolution theory requires, or rather it supposedly explains that all of the different kinds of living thing in this world evolved. This means that evolution of proteins would have to be a very regular thing. It would have to be something that happened countless millions of times and would be happening right now. In many species, millions of species would be experiencing protein evolution if evolution theory were true. It would be required. So the question is, can proteins evolve? Are they evolving? Do they evolve? Now, the evolutionist will often say, well, evolution is a process that takes place so slow that we can't observe it actually happening when we infer it from other evidences. But that wouldn't really be so with proteins, if evolution were true. We should see proteins evolving right before our eyes in various species if evolution were true. Because so many proteins would have to change for a fundamentally different type of organism to arise. Many proteins would have to change. In fact, for human beings to have evolved from a common ancestor with chimpanzees would have required that 80% of the proteins that we have would have had to have changed. They would have had to evolve. And the same is true for chimpanzees. Over the period of time which evolutionists believe humans and chimpanzees have been separate from their common ancestor. And this would be going on for countless species that exist today and would have existed in the past that are now extinct. So if evolution were true, the evolution of proteins is necessary and would have been something that has taken place countless millions of times in the past and would be taking place in humans today, in chimpanzees today, and in a tremendous number of species that exist in this world right now. So the real question for evolution theory is, can proteins evolve? As a creationist, I'm going to tell you they cannot. Proteins do not evolve. The idea of protein evolution is as fallacious as the evolution theory itself, because proteins are complex specified information turned into a molecular machine. Even the slightest variation in that specified information that codes for the specific three-dimensional structure of the protein is so specific that a slight change in that code results in a protein that is either completely functionless or reduced in efficiency. And you cannot, absolutely cannot claim that evolution proceeds by a mechanism which weakens and degrades organisms continuously. Hey, Brother Antonio, good to see you.
Good evening, Brother Neff. Good to see you too. I'm probably not going to say much for a little while. I'm just listening in just to learn. So carry on, brother.
Okay. Well, glad you came. So the real question is for evolutionists, you say as a creationist, I'm going to say that my summation of the circumstance is this, that the idea of protein evolution is a killer of evolution theory.